Welcome to Melt. I'm Suresh Venkat. This week, we're taking a look at the Indian auto sector, an industry that has been one of the fastest in adopting digital media technology and embracing electric to become future ready. To know more, Melt is in conversation with Tarun Garg, Director of Sales, Marketing and Service at Hyundai Motor India. The Korean car company that's been in India since 1996 is leaning big on going beyond mobility. What does that mean for the consumer? Let's find out as we get ready to melt with Tarun Garg.
Tarun, let's start with your latest campaign, Beyond Mobility. Now, for an automobile company whose core is mobility, what's beyond mobility for you?
So, Suresh, HMI's commitment to provide people quality time and empower consumers to pursue their passions is basically based on Hyundai's global vision of progress for humanity. Now, we all know that India is on the cusp of a transformation, and of course, consumers are now looking for unique experiences which stand out and give them exclusivity. And Hyundai, being more than just a mobility company, we are really trying to innovate with experiences. In fact, we have been building new disruptive platforms and while giving exclusive and end-to-end solution to fulfill customer expectation in their ownership journey. And it is for this reason that we decided to go beyond mobility, a journey circled around intelligent technology, sustainability, and innovation.
Tarun, Hyundai with 17% market share is the number 2 automobile player in India. In your view, can Maruti Suzuki ever be unseated from the number 1 spot?
Look, frankly speaking, as long as the customers are happy with what we are doing, as long as we are giving the customers, solving the problems, as long as they are really engaged with us, we will be happy. We just want to make sure that we are able to give this new, especially the Generation MZ customers who are looking at Hyundai with a lot of hope in terms of sustainability, in terms of innovations. So we are very happy to really take a leadership in those areas.
Tarun, tell us, what is the Hyundai customer like? What is the typical customer like?
Look, a Hyundai customer basically is, of course, as you know, that we have one OEM in India, who is available in petrol, in diesel, in turbo, in electrics, in CNG, not only in terms of ownership, but even in terms of experience by way of our subscription or leasing, etc. Now, particularly, I would like to mention here that the customer is getting really younger. If I see in the last 3-4 years, the average age of a consumer of Hyundai has gone down by 4 years. And more Generation MZ customers are joining the Hyundai family. They are really, really excited by the kind of features that we are able to provide them. They are very happy with the kind of technology we are able to provide them. And also, more importantly, I think the kind of SUV leadership which we have taken has really, really brought in some very, very new customers to the Hyundai family as well.
Tarun, Hyundai has a strong presence in both digital and social media. What is the core of your marketing strategy for both digital and social?
So basically, Suresh, our strategy is to be where our future consumer and his or her influencer is, which is social networks. Our owners, like I said, are getting younger, and the 15-somethings in the house have higher influence in high involvement purchase. So our strategy remains focused on engagement with a keen impetus on videos and vernacular. Focus remains on music, travel, adventures as genres. And as you know, India will have 1 billion smartphone users by 2026, with rural areas driving the scale of internet-enabled phones. So with the consumer journeys getting more dynamic, more accessible, increasing continuous, we are not just trying to make our social media presence strong, but also digitizing customer experiences with our offerings such as CTB. And of course, we know that 90% of car purchases are digitally influenced. So we want to facilitate consumer decision-making journeys seamless across all touch points with our digital presence.
And is this 90% of all purchase decisions being digitally influenced a fallout of the pandemic, or was it true pre-pandemic as well?
Things were definitely moving at a very fast pace. So, for example, our click to buy, he can do the whole process sitting at home. So this was probably not really kind of thought about, before the pandemic. So pandemic has definitely accelerated it, and we believe that it is for here to stay.
So, Tarun, you believe that some of the changes brought about by the pandemic are permanent changes in your marketing architecture, or will they go back to being business as usual?
Look, there's nothing permanent as such, but I believe that, yes, many of the things will stick. For example, digital as a medium, very clearly we can say that Now more than one third of our marketing spends are happening on the digital medium. Frankly speaking, this was only about 10-15% before the pandemic. I don't see it really coming back to the pre-pandemic levels. Similarly, whether it is exploration or whether it is comparison, so many things probably would continue to be digital. So consumer is really consuming more and more of content. So this is where it will happen. The other thing is this whole thing about personal mobility. If you remember, probably just 2-3 years before the pandemic, we were all talking about the shared mobility and how it is affecting personal mobility. But now I think the consumers know that they at least they want one car, and because they want the car when as and when required, and they also know that this one personal car really gives them such a great flexibility. They can take the family for vacations. And today, so many, of my friends say that even for 400, 500 kilometers, they want to travel in a car. So I believe some of these things would really stay.
A couple of years before the pandemic, Tarun, we were talking about mobility as a service and car as a service and not as a product. Did your marketing get influenced by those, it's hard to say movements, by those trends?
No, definitely. If you see that we are still doing about 400, 450 odd subscriptions every month, we have a very good leasing scheme in place. And I think as we go along, more and more options in terms of mobility will come in. We have already announced, as you know, the 6 battery electric vehicles to be introduced by 2028, which would again throw up some of the more, mobility options. So we believe that we are a smart mobility company, and we'll continue to really explore new and different ways of not only selling cars but actually being a part of the consumer's mobility journey, and providing him with various options which will really make not only owning a car but also experiencing a car a very very different and a pleasurable experience.
Tarun, next question for you. Tell us a couple of ways in which you think your consumer has changed permanently because of the pandemic and the lockdown.
So, Suresh, of course, customers have now become very vigilant about their surroundings. And with social distancing becoming a practice, people are skeptical of choosing shared mobility options. So, they now prefer, of course, buying their own vehicles. Even if they are pre owned, they have, of course, become more digital in their approach. So, we are expecting more and more customers to now experience their purchase journey through a click to buy platform. Now, it is up to the OEMs to make sure that we are providing an omni-channel experience to the customer so that they can really switch seamlessly between physical and digital. But clearly, the digital is going to play a much, much bigger role in times to come.
How did your marketing department change during the pandemic, and are these changes permanent?
So, look, I think I've spoken a lot about the shift to digital. And one very important key factor is that we have to really look for sustainable solutions. So, we have to see that the overall approach has to become more solution oriented. We have to become a brand which is really solving the customer problems. We have to really empathize more. So I think the whole of our marketing is basically woven around all these factors, so that we can customers can really look at Hyundai that yes, here is a brand which I can really trust, and which empathizes with me, and which can really give me solutions for my problems.
And the car that started all of this, Tarun, is of course the Santro. And the Shah Rukh Khan's association with Hyundai is now what, 24 years old? What explains this very long association with one single celebrity?
Mr. Shah Rukh Khan has been a part of Hyundai for many years, and he has been closely associated not only with our products but service, CSR, and other campaigns. In fact, you would have seen that our new corporate campaign Beyond Mobility that highlights Hyundai's global vision of progress for humanity and our commitment to provide consumers with best possible solutions that take their experiences beyond mobility. Mr. Shah Rukh Khan was very much a part of it. So we believe that this 25-year relationship is surely a benchmark in India and beyond. And Hyundai has come a long way in last 25 years, and Mr. Shah Rukh Khan has been really a part of the journey. So we are very, very, kind of pleased about this association.
And to be fair, Tarun, Shah Rukh has had a share of ups and downs like any big star is going to have over a couple of decades. And the brand still stuck with him through the ups and downs. Why is that?
Yeah, so basically we truly value and respect this long-standing relationship. And I think this strong bond has only made this journey more meaningful. So of course, everybody can have ups and downs, but that is about Hyundai. We have believed in sustainability. We have believed in long-term relationship. Today we are here, and we can really say proudly that we have been not only engaged very well, but also really given both to each other, and that is what makes the relationship even stronger.
Tarun, in your opinion, what is the future of the internal combustion engine? How many more years does it have, or is there an expiry date?
So, look, I believe that, of course, we have already embarked on a journey to take our customers beyond mobility, and EVs are definitely a direction for the future. And as you know, that we have also announced a very, very aggressive plan to introduce 6 battery electric vehicles by 28. But we believe that IC continues to be a reliable option in the interim. Even the best of estimates, even by 2030, very clearly indicate that IC will continue to play a very important role, in India. So we have to just see that how we can make even that technology more efficient and clean. And that is why, if you see Hyundai, we have been really working on, more and more fuel efficiency technologies. We are very proud to, introduce turbo. We are proud to introduce CNG, in our model range, and of course diesel, which gives a very good fuel efficiency as well. So I think they are both going to coexist, and this is where we are. So we have to continuously invest in the future, which is probably electric vehicles. At the same time, we have to see how we can really make the IC technologies even more, cleaner.
All right. Continuing along that line of conversation about internal combustion engines, there's been a sudden explosion of SUVs and what I call SUV style vehicles in the last few years in India. What explains this sudden explosion?
So basically, if I may say, I think Hyundai has played its own role in shaping the SUV race in India. So, SUVs, of course, have been growing steadily. But what has changed is that, now customers are looking for not only a basic SUV. And this is where I believe Hyundai has really been able to, provide them with everything. If you remember in 2015, SUVs contributed probably 15% to the overall market. And now they are contributing 40% to the overall market. And in fact, Hyundai has been the number one SUV maker in 2020 and 2021 as well. So the whole thing is, are you able to really spot the consumer trend and launch a car much ahead of its time? Like I said, in 2015, who would have thought that Creta would sell, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 a month? The whole idea is that you need to really not really wait for the market to develop. You need to really, introduce products based on your market studies, based on the consumer trends, and then create that market. Hyundai has always believed in that. We have got a success as well. But the important thing is that SUVs of today are much more about features, design, beautiful, and of course those earlier traits of functionality, space still remain. And that is where I believe Hyundai has been able to do well in SUVs.
Tarun, like you mentioned, your Creta has been a blockbuster success for you, hasn't it?
Right.
What does it take to create this kind of blockbuster car or vehicle?
So, like I said, first is that Creta is a trendsetter, because people associate with the Creta now. We have been here for 6 years and we have sold more than 6 lakh units of Creta. And basically, I can see that almost every household in India or the other household in India is having a Creta. So I think there's a lot of pride of ownership associated with this ultimate SUV, because Creta, if I may say, has become a synonym with an SUV. It has become a benchmark, and we are so happy to see that it has really created a trend which has really, so many other OEMs, in fact, look at Creta and say that, yes, this is a car, which has so many features. So we have really tried to see what the customer wants and in the Creta, and made sure that we are keeping the customer engaged all this while. Of late, you would have seen the night edition of the Creta, which has again got a very, very good response. So the whole idea is, how do you really keep the customers engaged? And for example, we introduced this Explorers Club, where people could come in their SUVs and they could go on some very exciting trips. And we are receiving some great response. The children want to join their parents on these trips. And the whole idea is, can you really make it very special for the consumers to engage with the Hyundai brand? And that is what we're trying to do, so that customers always get something new. They feel more engaged. And of course, all these things, I think, make the Creta brand even stronger. And it has really become a cult brand for Hyundai.
Tarun, what are your female customers asking for, both in terms of design and utility and in terms of brand connection and positioning?
So, Suresh, we are seeing a higher consumption and ownership by females. I think these USPs of our cars basically offer our female customers greater convenience and safety. For example, geofencing via Blue Link connectivity, voice-enabled functions, ventilated seats, and I think a whole lot of newer features that are really being lapped up by all our buyers. Another thing which I like to say is that we are now seeing the new age buyers have a similar preference, which are also almost gender neutral. I think this is some new trend which is emerging. But basically, it is about convenience, safety, features, and connectivity.
Tarun, what's going to be your strategy to sell electric cars? Is it going to be fuel efficiency, low cost, zero tailpipe emissions, advanced technology, good for the planet, or something else? What's going to be the platform on which the marketing is going to sit?
So basically, as you know, we are guided by our global philosophy of progress for humanity, and of course, our new brand campaign of Beyond Mobility. I think this is all what guides us. As far as electric vehicles is concerned, as you know, in 2019, when we launched the Kona, which was a fully electric vehicle, probably the first SUV electric in India. So we have always been, kind of front runner. Now also we have introduced, we have announced that we are going to introduce 6 BEVs. Now the Ioniq 5, which has won so many awards at the world stage, whether it's the World Car of the Year or the Design of the Year or the Electric Car of the Year. We have announced the introduction of Ioniq 5. The whole idea is that because we know that we believe that customers who are buying electric cars, they want to be the trendsetters. They want to really contribute to the society. They want to really make a mark to the others. They are basically the influencers. And we believe as Hyundai, the kind of brand we have also always been associated with introducing something new, some new benchmarks. So it's a very natural synergy. Also, we get a lot from our global Hyundai Motor Company, who is investing a lot as far as electric vehicles are concerned. So we are quite confident that, with our investments in the BEVs and the announcements of electric vehicles, whether it is on sedans, CUVs, or SUVs, we are going to, we be a very, very prominent player in the electric vehicles going forward in India.
And what do you see as the role of advertising and communication in addressing this new consumer, the one who wants to buy electric vehicles?
So basically, under the aegis of our, like I said, global vision of progress for humanity, the three key facets are the core DNA or, the intelligent technology, sustainability, and innovation. So basically, these will be the three key facets on which we will develop those smart mobility solutions for the future. So our focus will remain on giving back quality time to our customers. So I would say that for electric vehicles, the most advanced technological solutions that will usher in an eco-positive future through zero tailpipe emissions, highest cost efficiencies, they will be the key USPs. Like for example, as far as electric vehicles is concerned, we know that the customers are going to be very, very digitally connected. We need to really provide solutions, not only in terms of a product, but also in terms of the charging infrastructure. We need to really be engage with the customer very well. So I think all those things of direct marketing are going to play also a very, very important role as far as electric vehicles are concerned.
Tarun, I imagine the EV customers, one of their top concerns might be range anxiety. As one of the leading auto players in India, do you see it as your responsibility to provide the charging infrastructure across the country as well?
So there are, I think, a multitude of factors out here. If you see, even in 2019, when we introduced the Kona, it had a range of 450 kilometers. So many of our dealers had a charging infrastructure. We also tied up with Indian Oil for some fast charging. So my point is, like I said, we will need to really look at the entire ecosystem. So we are working on various solutions. And I think as and when we are ready, we are going to announce those solutions. But we understand that we will really need to work very closely, whether it is the government or whether it is the power companies. So we need to really work very closely to really create that kind of a ecosystem. So yes, as OEM, we are ready to play that kind of a role and play our part in creating that ecosystem.
Tarun, what is Hyundai's view on non-petrol, non-diesel, non-CNG and non-EV? Hydrogen, for instance. Is that a factor at all in your future strategy?
So, look, as Hyundai Motor Company, the advantage of having such a great parent is that we have all the technologies available. So, whether it is hydrogen, whether it is battery electric vehicle, whether it is other technologies. So now we have to see that, yes, what technology is right from a regulatory perspective. We are always observing, and accordingly, we are making those decisions about what technology, what time, is right for India.
Tarun, final question to you. What car do you drive and why?
I drive a Kona EV, And for obvious reasons, I think it's a beauty to drive. It is so convenient. My family loves it. And of course, we are definitely contributing as a family to the society and even to the future. I think this makes me feel very, very good that yes, we are doing even a small bit for the society and for the future of our next generations.
Tarun Garg of Hyundai India, thank you very much for talking to us at Melt.
Thank you, Suresh. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
The auto space, exciting and brimming with innovation as always. And now it's time for creative picks. Last month, Hyundai became one of the first movers to activate its global sponsorship of the upcoming FIFA World Cup. The ad campaign, titled Goal of the Century, features several star footballers including Steven Gerrard and has racked up over 11 million views already. We reckon that can also be attributed to a clever casting choice for the voiceover, popular Korean band BTS leader RM or Kim Namjoon. And yes, this ad is BTS Army approved. Take a look.
What makes a great goal? Is it the one that electrifies? The one that is too good to be true? That steals our breath? The one that shakes the world with a thunderstorm of 1,000 voices? The one that rewrites football history? Or is it a goal that is far greater than that? A goal we at Hyundai are committed to, driven by heart and technical prowess. A goal that humanity can only score together under one jersey, one flag, and for one monumental cause, a united world for sustainability. When we rise as one team, team-centric, we can still win this game.
Great things are coming. Are you in?
That's a wrap on this episode. You can follow Melt on social media. The handle is Ready to Melt, or simply log on to readytomelt.com. And if you'd like to follow me, it's @Suvenk on Twitter. Till next week, goodbye and thanks for watching.